What's up, fellas? Well, it is a beautiful, summery, almost summer, Sunday afternoon. Happy Father's Day to any of the dads out there watching. Getting ready to give Yaz a maintenance wash, but I wanted to make this video a quick video as a follow-up to my active 2.3 pressure washer video that I put out a couple of weeks ago. This is kind of like a correction slash clarification slash quick demonstration, if you will. Really, it's kind of in response to some of the comments from that video. And by the way, thank you to everybody who watched and commented on that video. A lot of great interaction there. So one of the questions that I saw a couple of times in the comments was asking whether or not I was using a steel braided hose, and the answer was no. So for that video, I was using a 50-foot fixed fans hose that I got from Amazon that was part of my old setup, which was for the Karcher 1800, but I'm now using a Cobra Jet 75-foot hose, which I already had at the time, but I hadn't unboxed it yet because I was waiting to put together the wall-mounted setup. But now that all of that is complete, my primary hose using with the Active 2.3 is the 75-foot Cobra Jet. Now, on their website, it's kind of weird. Like, they've changed the text a couple of times. Initially, it read that a steel braided hose was recommended. However, you can use any aftermarket hose so long as compatible with the M22 14mm fitting. They've since removed the part about the aftermarket hose, and now it just says, they strongly recommend a steel braided hose, and they do include a steel braided hose with the kit. Now, from what I can gather, it's mainly because using a steel braided hose guarantees that you're gonna get the full amount of power, the full amount of pressure from the unit. Whether or not using a cheaper flexible hose, whether or not that can run the risk of damaging the motor, honestly, I have no idea. But it seems to me that the main recommendation for the steel braided hose is just to make sure that you're getting the full amount of PSI and GPM. Now, again, in the video, I was using a fixed fans hose. Now I have the Cobra Jet hose, and to me, there was no discernible difference in performance between either hose. Granted, I only used the fixed fans hose like once or twice, and obviously since I got the wall-mounted setup going, I've been using the Cobra Jet hose, but it feels exactly the same to me in terms of performance. Now, maybe if you measured it or something, did some testing with it, you might find that there's a difference, but from using it like a regular use in a car wash situation, it seemed to me the same. And one of the things that I noted on the other video that I really loved about the unit was that when you pull the trigger, it's there's like a split second with no power, and then it's a quick ramp up to full power, which makes for a more smoother sort of feel, a more smoother trigger pull. And when the power of all the water comes through, versus before, at least in the case with my Karcher 1800, it was a very violent kickback when you pull the trigger. Like, you'd pull the trigger and it just, it would snap back on you. And God forbid, if you didn't have the nozzle fully attached, that thing would turn into a bullet. Ask me how I know. So I don't think that necessarily had to do anything with the hose so much as it's just a mark of a better unit. However, again, like I said, the hose performance to me seemed to be the same, but I cannot imagine that something like a Cobra Jet hose would not be safe to use with this unit. It's very rugged, very high quality hose. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if you're using a Cobra Jet hose or something similar with this unit, you'll probably be all right. Okay, so now for the correction. So the Active 2.3 comes with a gun, foam cannon, steel braided hose, and a 1.45mm orifice for your aftermarket foam cannon. Presumably the people at Active assumed that most people buying this unit were gonna be using an aftermarket foam cannon. I have a pair of MTM PF22 foam cannons, which come pre-installed with a 1.25mm orifice. You also get a 1.1. Problem is that because the Active 2.3 puts out a higher GPM rate, 2.3, you need to use a bigger orifice for your foam cannon to make sure that you don't go over the amperage. Where I was mistaken was thinking that because the unit is rated for 15 amps, but because I'm plugged into a 20 amp circuit, that I have a little bit of give there. But the problem isn't tripping the circuit, the problem is overloading the motor in the pressure washer. So if you use an orifice in your aftermarket foam cannon or even the nozzle, so they come with 4.6 nozzles, which you should stay in that range of between 4.5 to 5, I think. But for the foam cannon, if you use something lower than a 1.45, you run the risk of overloading the motor with too many amps. So since then, I have upgraded one of the foam cannons with the 1.45 that they include. I have a 1.5 that I got from Obsessed Garage, so I'm gonna upgrade the other foam cannon, but I'll do that in another video. So I wanted to demonstrate, this brings us to the demonstration part of the video, I wanted to demonstrate the difference in the foam between the 1.25 and the 1.45. Now, in the other video, I marveled over how fantastic the foam was with the 1.25 that was pre-installed on my PF22. It's almost like shaving cream foam. It was fantastic. You could even hear how thick it was as it was dripping off the car. Check it out. Okay, so that's the 1.25. Yes, it's fantastic. However, I don't want to run the risk of burning out the motor for the sake of slightly better foam quality. So now let's demonstrate the 1.45. All things being equal, using about 200 milliliters of Koshemi GSF soap. The rest, filled up in water in the MTN PF22 foam cannon. Now with a 1.45 Orifice, let's check that out. All right, guys, well, there you go. So that is the difference between the 1.25 and the 1.45. Obviously, the foam production quality is going to be slightly less. I definitely would not say that it's watery. It's just slightly less thick, but again, I'm not that interested in running the risk of damaging the motor for slightly thicker foam. I think it still does a fantastic job with the foam quality, and it's better than I was getting with the 1.25 and the PF22 with the Karcher 1800. So there you go. So I just want to make this video real quick just to clear up those couple of things and to show the difference in the foam quality. Hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you are considering the Active 2.3, highly recommend, obviously do your own research, watch a bunch of reviews and all that other kind of stuff, but I think it's a fantastic unit, very happy with it, and I think you probably will be too if you're coming from something like I was, like the Karcher 1800. So anyway, guys, again, hope you found the video helpful, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.